So now we want to work on the 1B lines. That we got all the 1As completed. So we're going to go turn off the 1A, the 1A line layers. We're going to turn those off. And you probably want to save. This is a good time to save. Again, getting in the habit of saving often. Otherwise, again, like I said, if it locks up, you're kind of stuck. Now we're going to do these a little bit different, a little bit more, I would say, quicker, faster way than we did before. But I wanted to show you the other method because if you're doing it one by one, it's just you understand what challenges you run into. And the first thing we'll do is let's put this little gutter line on the right layer. So we missed that from an earlier section. So let's go ahead and set that to the gutter layer, turn that off. And then what we're going to do is we will select everything. Okay. Now, if you look over here under properties, it says there's 33 objects. So you should have 33. And it's a combination of arcs and lines. So because they're different object types, we can't edit the geometry of them all. We have to do them individually. So if we pick arc, for example, we can come in and because they're all arcs, it has like properties, we can change the Z value of that arc. So you want to come, not this point, but you want to come down here and press enter or enter in 0. So you got to highlight the varies, hit enter, and then it defaults back to all. So if we go back to arc and we come down, you'll see that the Z value is 0, right? Now we can do the same thing for the line. Now with the lines, we have to do them both the start point. So we're going to pick here for the geometry, press 0 for that and enter. Go back up, pick line again, and then come down here and we'll pick this one and press 0 for that. All right, so now all the objects, if we look at their properties, their Z value is equal to 0. Right, so we're kind of zeroing it out. Now, you could hit save at this point. So let's go ahead and hit save. So we save the changes there. Now we'll select all these objects and we will do the p-edit command. So again, we're going to do the p-edit, edit polyline. We're going to turn them into polylines because they were either arcs or lines. We are going to right click and select join. And now it's going to ask us to select any. So actually, I think I missed that. So let's escape out of that and do one more time. Let's do p-edit. And we want to right click and do multiple. And then we can select all the entities. Right click again, pick join. Gap tolerance is 0.25. Press enter, enter. And now let's take a look. Now these down here, there is no, obviously, joining. They're individual lines. But it's up here that we want to take a look at. So if we look at that, that line goes all the way up. That's good. This one goes all the way up. That's good. This one, okay, we're missing a spot down here. And then this one, we're missing a spot down here as well. All right, and I knew there was a problem on that one, so we'll show you how to fix that. These all should be connected and joined, which they are. So we're just hovering over them, making sure that they're all as we want them to be. So what's happening down here is that the object arc even though it's a polyline, it's got some weird entity to it. So if we take a look at this in the object viewer and we rotate it up, and you can see how it's offset, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the top view after we orbited it, and we're just going to hit this rebuild. That'll rebuild it, kind of get rid of those jagged edges. Okay. If we take a look at this, what we want to identify is the properties of it. So if we scroll down, it should give us the see, it's got some weird negative value there, right? So even if we set it to 0, see how it happens when we do that, it goes away. So what we want to know is what the really what the radius of this arc should be. And it doesn't look like it's telling us here. Actually, go to turn on all our layers. So let's unisolate layers. Yep. So we're looking for that. That's a 10-foot radius, which makes this a 9.5-foot radius. And that's what we want to know. We also want to grab that line. And while we're there, we're going to put that on the bottom of curve for 1B. So 1B bottom of curve, because we want that little tangent segment there. All right. So then we're going to go back to our layers, isolate layer. We're going to isolate this. We know that our dimension, right? Oh, we want to turn on, let's go back to STK here, and let's turn on the top back of curve. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this bottom of curve. We're going to make that the active layer. All right. So we just picked on the little ellipse button here. We set the 1B bottom of curve, and we're just going to use an arc command. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw an arc, but before we do that, we want to make sure that this line and this line are, you can see they're lines and polylines. So let's do a P edit. P edit. We'll say yes, turn them into polylines. Okay. Then now when we select them, they're both polylines, and we can come up here and we can change the Z value to 0. Okay. And then we know that this one is 0. So what we're going to be able to do is use the arc command, and we're going to pick a starting point, which we don't want to snap to the end of the arc. So we don't want to hover over here. We want to hover over the end of this line so that it goes to the end point of that line. Okay. So we got the end point of that line as our starting point. We're going to right click and pick endpoint. And then same thing, we're going to pick the end of this line. Okay. And now it's asking us, we're going to right click and hit radius. And the radius of the arc is going to be 10. So now that's drawn that arc in there. Okay. And we're going to repeat that command. But this time we want to go to the top back of curve. So we're just going to double click in there to make that active, right? So it puts the little triangle next to it. And we'll just do that same thing, except this time it'll be a 9.5-foot radius. So I'm going to pick this as my start point. I'm going to right click, go to end. We'll pick the end here. And then right click, and radius will be 9.5. Okay. So now we should be able to go and type in weld, pick this line, that arc, and that line, that polyline. And it did do the arc. But it looks like, let's see, let's look at this one. I think we messed up. This one is the bad one. Yeah, this is the bad one because it's got that. So let's get rid of that. And we probably should have deleted those beforehand. So we look at this one, that's the good one. So what we need to do is just take this, and we're just going to grip edit it to that endpoint over here. So that's good there. And then if we do the weld, right, we know it won't weld that other one. So we're going to do weld on this line, which should be the one we just drew in this one. And that one we got good, right? So there is that other one that's in here, which is that one probably. Yep, that's the bad one. So you just got to zoom in so you can see the separation. And then we can pick that bad arc. We can delete that. And now we've got those all cleaned up. All right, so now if we turn on all our stake layers, oops, gutter, property line, sidewalk. Oh, we didn't do the gutter. So we would want to do that next. So let's say no to that. Let's set gutter active. And then we can turn off these other layers, and we'll repeat that process for the gutter pans. Let's turn off sidewalk. So same thing with this. We're going to do the P edit. Actually, let's select them all first. And this is just a little bit quicker way of doing it. We got arcs and lines. So again, we're going to set the geometry so that they're all at 0. And we'll do the lines, and we'll set them. We could make those polylines, but we're going to set the ends of the Z value to 0. And now we can do the P edit. Multiple, right click, multiple, pick everything, right click, yes, enter, join, enter. We'll do 0.25 for the gap. And now I'll just verify that. So they all look pretty good. Looks like we have the same problem down here on that gutter pan that we did with the curve. So this one, if we take a look, it's an arc. Is it showing our radius? It's got a 1, yeah, the radius, 12-foot radius, which is showing right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that, and going to do a new arc, and we're going to go from here to the end, and radius being 12. And then I can double left click on that, right click, join. We'll select these entities, and did it join? Nope. So we got a little bit of a challenge there. Why did that? Oh, let's snap it back to that endpoint. And let's see if we can do the weld. So it's kind of a combination between weld and polyline edit. Okay, that one worked. Yep, that one's good. And then we'll just repeat that weld command. Pick this one, and there we go. So, phew. A little bit of work, but once you get the hang of it, it's just, can be time consuming, but you really want to do this because you don't want, you want this clean data going to stake it out. It's going to make your life a little easier. So the more you kind of spend in here cleaning everything up and getting it the way you want it, then you don't have to worry about issues with the field and the field software. So now that we have that, again, good time to save. And what we will work on next is bringing in some of the building pads and other interior grade break lines, concrete lines and pads that will eventually be staked out in the field as well. But this gives us at least some curb line to go stake out and some sidewalk to go stake out, lay out our construction fence, and know where our property boundaries are. So this is kind of the start of cleaning up the data in a 2D format.